Live.
Okay, now we are.
All right. Well, it's been a hell of a night. So yeah, we're late, not once, but twice. So here we are. Welcome to Numb Bills Fan Live, I guess, and I can't even know where to sit over here. So welcome, party people. And essentially, Facebook wouldn't let us go live for about an hour. It even was slow to load on a regular website. Is that right, Deacon? We got Deacon via satellite. Say what's up, dog.
Yeah, it's your fault.
Totally, I guess. But no, the second time was my fault because we rebooted our computer and I forgot to press input audio for the thing. But I'll own it because I'm the first one to take a shit on somebody when they mess up. My B, yo. That's me. Got the foul. Yeah, right here. That's a good dude right there.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe not. That's how I do it. In hockey, I'll help somebody up. Anyways, welcome to Numb Bills Fan Live. Find us on Twitter at Numb Bills Fan. You'll be talking to me. Deacon might he might cover for me in some promotion, but he doesn't interact with my account. So, what's up, Deacon? You want to tell him what's up? What are you doing? How's life?
I do interact from your account all the time, but it's always by accident, and I always try to delete it before anyone notices.
Stop. No laughing while drinking. So, sorry we're late. I really can't believe Facebook wouldn't let us upload. We were actually ready to go, and it was kind of weird. So it's been a hell of a day.
No, we should have only been like 20 minutes late instead of like an hour and 20 minutes late.
But it wasn't our fault totally. Just 40 minutes of it.
If you can hear us this time though, give us some thumbs up so we know.
No, dude. Yo, we're dinging. The input thing on the mixer says mic aux on our streaming service here. We're rolling, dude. We're good. So
I'm so glad I'm coming in via satellite today, just so I can hide my face in shame over here.
Yeah. Well, hey, I just want to let people know. If you don't know, if you haven't checked out our other Facebook Live video, we did, which, by the way, we're brought to you by BillsForLife.com. And we love those guys. And thank you so much, Jamie Tilbury and Chris Williams, for starting this thing and really having us be a part of it. So it's great to work with everybody, really passionate Bills fans. And like, hell of a job they do sifting through bullshit comments. And hell of a job they do having great conversation and having an awesome community. And like anything in life, you got primarily good people. So,
yeah, not only an awesome community, an extensive community, 60,000 Bills fans. And they're over here keeping the peace, making sure no one gets too inflammatory, but also making sure we all have a way to voice our opinion on the Bills. It's pretty dope. And we really appreciate them and the whole team of administrators with Bills Mafia and you know, Bills for Life. They got a ton of people putting in time on this. And, you know, again, it's just really dope to be a part of all of it.
Yeah, I'm pretty stoked. I think for the most part, you get a lot of good insight on the Bills boards, that place, I should say, because a lot of people have sources that you don't realize. And, you know, I'll hear stuff from you, Deeks, all the time that, like, you find out some information. So I think it's neat. But what I was going to say is one of our Facebook Lives we did, and also in our podcast, if you subscribe to us on iTunes, Stitcher Radio, Overcast, whatever you use, Google Play, there's a way you can do it. And if there's a service that you use that we're not on, get at us any way you want. We're on Facebook, obviously. Numb Bills Fan. Just type Numb Bills Fan anywhere. And it's a great name because shit happens as a Bills fan. Like, really, admit that. You gotta be numb. Anytime I think about the Bills, I think about Pink Floyd and heroin. Just come to be numb, man. You know, that's all. Here we go again. Huh.
You know, after almost 2 decades, I'm not even that comfortable anymore. I'm ready to get right, man. And We got a culture change coming up in Buffalo. It might be time. It might be time to get ready. I know Rex. I know Rex Ryan told us to get ready, but he wasn't serious. But this Sean McDermott.
Hey,
is
this thing on or And ironically, Sean McDermott did that too.
You shouldn't be joking about whether or not the mic's on because yours wasn't about 10 minutes ago.
Mm-hmm. So, what I was going to say is, check this out. Bam. Takeo Spikes was on with us, and he had a book called Behind the Mask that he did, which is pretty sweet. And I just wanted to pimp that out for everybody again and let you guys know you should really check that out. So, again, one more time. Boom. Boom, boom. And I heard Takeo Spikes on the Ross Tucker football podcast today, and it was pretty cool. And talking about, forgot who it was, but a lot of interesting things about ALS with NFL players, that they have like a 4-time greater risk, supposedly, of getting ALS playing football. So a lot of crazy things going on. And they kind of talked about, players with, do you really need all that hitting in practice? And et cetera, and how the league is promoting, which they don't hit really anymore. They don't do 2 days anymore. But Ross Tucker and TKO Spikes, both guys had a lot of years in the league. And it's a really interesting conversation because it ironically ties into podcast 112 that we just did with Rob Quinn from BillsWire.com. And I told Rob before, like, there's some things we want to talk about, but we hit on podcast 111 with Kevin Massari from cover1.net. We hit EJ Manuel leaving which we expected, going to Oakland. We hit the Ryan Groy situation. We hit the Holmes debacle and talked a couple other things along the lines. But with Rob, we talked a lot of what's the state of the Bills, really. I didn't want to put in the title of our podcast state of one Bills drive. So it didn't want to put that because it's kind of like a lame title, like it's not really enticing to get you to listen to it. But it was a genuine conversation. We just rolled tape, we just pressed record, and it was a great conversation about really Bills culture. And man, they keep having these coaching changes and they keep drafting these players and everything changes all the time. And do they listen too much to the fans in the past? And oh, by the way, now that Scott Purcell ain't the head of the PR department, or PR, whatever it is, the public relations and all that crap, like, that's ironic that there's no leaks out of one Bills drive. So ever since that change got made, so we kind of talked about that. And I guess, like, Rob was mentioning some people aren't getting scoops that usually get scoops, and everything is more speculative in writing. And his ears to the ground. He writes for the Bills Wire, billswire.usatoday.com. Rob works really hard. Really, really hard. And it's kind of inspiring to see where he's come from and how hard he's worked. So, kudos to Rob. Check that out. This podcast 112. And yeah.
That's up now at numbbillsfan.com.
Woo! But whatever Scott Birchall did, I don't remember his real title because I'm drawing a real blank because I'm shocked we're even going live right now after all we've done. Really blank. Yeah. Don't forget, so Deacon, Sam Tripoli, punchdrunksports.com from at punchdrunk on Twitter. The Punch Drunk Sports Podcast is awesome. But Sam Tripoli dropped, what did you say, a comedy album? Yeah, he just dropped a brand new comedy record. It is hilarious. I was checking it out this morning. Haven't heard the whole thing. I'll have the full review next week, but make sure you check him out. It's on iTunes. It is on Amazon, and it is called The Diabolical. So make sure you check out the latest from Sam Tripoli. It came out at #1 on the comedy charts, and we are super psyched for him. Me too. And Jason Tebow, I guess, got picked up for a pilot. They were saying on the latest Punch Drunk podcast. So good for him. And I don't know what Ari Shaffir is up to. I don't think he's on a podcast of his own in a while. I could be wrong. But, yeah, so check them out at Punch Drunk. And don't forget, again, we're brought to you by BillsForLife.com. And thank you to everybody for sticking around, being patient tonight. So,
sticking around or coming back or whatever, showing up late. If you came in an hour late trying to miss the show, well, sorry, we came in an hour late too.
Well, so let's dive right into it. I say we do like a hard 15 minutes and just dive right into this right now. So the Bills have made a lot of moves. I like the patience that they have. I really do. I think it's sweet that they're sitting back, they're picking their shots. You know, it was cool to hear about, Zach Brown fires his agent. Now he's talking with the Bills, because one of the biggest questions I had, and I said it last week, I believe, here on a podcast, was when I think Sean McDermott coming over, I think, who is Luke Kuechly? Who's going to be your fast linebacker? That dude is ridiculous. And I need to see guys in that to see what they're doing. Like, who do you got? I like to see Zach Brown get some reps, get up in there. You know, just, can we make that happen? I don't think he disappointed at all. At the same time, some people think he might have fell off towards the end of the year. He was a stat monster, and I guess in Rex's scheme, you just get stats for linebackers. It's very friendly. Either way, you still got to execute it. So there's that, just a little bit. And I'll be honest, I don't want to have Reggie Ragland coming off of an ACL and never played a down of football. I'm not putting my defense in his hands.
I want to have Reggie Ragland coming off of an ACL for sure, but I don't know if I'm ready to have him be the
important.
Well, no, I expect him to be a starter. I do. But I don't think he's going to be ready to be the, I guess, as John Murphy likes to say, the linchpin of that defense. I don't think that's gonna work right out the gate. I think, yes, he's going to be a starter. I think, yes, he's going to be a big contributor, but I think it's going to be a process with him. I don't think it's going to be just a straight shot up the side of the hill. I think he's going to have to take steps to get where we want him. And it's the steps you would have liked to have seen him take last season, but unfortunately the injury put him on the sidelines. He missed the entire year, and we're kind of starting from square one now.
Yeah, it's a tough position to be in if you're him. And not everybody's Adrian Peterson. You're not. And everything is different, and everybody is different. Your willpower, your circumstance, really. And I don't know all those details at all. So, as far as I'm concerned, bring Zach Brown back. And he's going to be playing with people he knows. He's going to be playing, they all want him back. Preston Brown seems to be the biggest guy recruiting him. And I like that. It says a lot. And Preston Brown's a smart football player. I'm looking to see what a guy like Preston Brown, who is already light years ahead of the rest of the team as far as, or I should say the rest of the team. He was in the elite of, I'm going to come to work and I'm going to do my damn work. That's what Preston Brown did. And he's a smart football player. Dad is a football coach. And I'm excited to see, okay, we have an organized ship here with Sean McDermott. He knows where every little nook and cranny and detail is. And you have a guy, obviously, because of Leslie Frazier, who's very well respected, obviously. So now it seems like this team, to sidetrack off that, is really interjected with guys who can be focused, like a Kyle Williams, like a Preston Brown. We already know that. Well, how about bringing in guys back, like Lorenzo Alexander? How about Micah Hyde? He's a rep for the NFLPA, and when he, and with Green Bay too. So, and a leader on that team,
and also a very, very, very well-rounded defensive back.
Mm-hmm.
And
Very well rounded.
I saw some people trying to make the argument that, well, he's okay, he's not really good at one thing or another, he doesn't really stand out as a hitter or a coverage guy. It's like, no, it's he's balanced, he's well rounded, he's complete, and that's what you want. You don't want a guy that can decleat a guy but is a liability in coverage every single time. You don't want that. Like, you don't want a guy to be one sided. So when I saw people, in the groups and on the boards this week trying to kind of minimize what he's going to bring to this defense, I was just like, nah. That was the best signing we've had this off season, except for maybe getting rid of Carpenter.
How the hell does a kicker end up in that great thought? I guess it is important because I got to see a kicker in Miami in person make some bullshit field goal to knock the Bills out of the playoffs. But if Dan Carpenter would have made two, and I've never been one to get... Why am I taking the bait? Anyways...
well, you already know how I feel about that thing.
We've already gone over this so many freaking times. Holy shit.
If he would have hit that field goal in regulation, it would have changed everything. Our coaching staff wouldn't be here. Like, Rex Ryan would have coached week 17. Tyrod would have played week 17. All of that 10 men on the field in the overtime period would have never happened if Dan Carpenter could have just been reliable during the regulation period. Now, don't get me wrong. There was a lot of fuckery, a lot of bad coaching. Dumb shit happened, and that whole coaching staff is now gone, except for Danny Crossman. They're all gone. They're not coming back. They're history. It's time to move on. All I'm saying is if he was more reliable, the whole thing would have ended differently.
Do we have anything interesting in the comments? I got nothing on my end because I'm just doing the I'm just staying over here on the monitor side. So
all right. So our man Steve Terzi, when you were talking about you liked the free agent signings so far, he brought up a good point. 3 receivers for the price of 1, and that did happen. I saw an article about it this morning. We got 3 guys in on free agency for what San Francisco paid Marquise Goodwin to go out there. I'm okay with that.
All right, so Tyrod Taylor has experience with Philly Brown. He used to play with him. You know, he actually threw him a touchdown in a preseason game with Baltimore. And I guess when Philly Brown got injured, he was injured week 2. I heard Chris Brown talking about it. I guess he doesn't want to be called Philly Brown. Sorry. But he ends up showing up, getting hurt week 2, and then he recovers, and then he was just throwing routes, running routes and playing with Tyrod Taylor. They practiced together. So I kind of wonder, is it coincidence that Tyrod, that they got him? I wonder if they go, hey, Tyrod, how would you feel about getting so-and-so? I don't know. I don't know if they could even talk to Tyrod. I don't know what's up. But I kind of like that. We saw that with the Boykin kid coming in last season, but he didn't stick. And he used to play with Tyrod, obviously, in college. So I think the Brown thing is cool. I think the Holmes Raiders debacle thing, Kevin Massari and I again talked about that on podcast number 111. Find that, iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play. You know where to get us. Or just if there's a spot that you don't see it up, tell us. We'll put it up. So, it really interesting. 6'5". Best season was in 2014, and when his number was called, he seemed to produce. And in an interview, I heard him talking with John Murphy. He's a very willing blocker in the run game. Very willing to do whatever it takes. He's just going to do it. So I feel like he could be that big body.
Oh, absolutely. I said it on Twitter the other day, when we got asked what we thought about that signing. I said, for what it's worth, I like it cuz he can kind of like step into that Justin Hunter big body red zone role. He also adds a lot as a special teamer. He's been like a gunner for punt coverage. So we let Marcus Easley get away, who who just killed that role for years. Kind of,
Right.
to me, one of the unsung heroes of the Buffalo Bills the last few years. I like that we got him because Easley's gone now. That's another,
Mm-hmm.
and that's another one of the things I really think needs to be addressed is like our special teams unit needs to create the opportunities for the other two phases. We really need to tighten that up. Because I feel like field position was one of the things that this team struggled with last season on both sides of the ball.
It feels like they're taking out more variables.
Right.
You're canceling them out.
Absolutely. And the other thing that's nice about Andre Holmes, aside from being a big target, is he's a guy that can absolutely 100% play outside, which gives you the option of moving Sammy Watkins around the field a little bit more. Put him in the slot, run him through the backfield, whatever you got to do with him, you got to start fooling people with Sammy Watkins. You know what I mean? I'm not saying use him as a decoy. I'm saying like you got to switch up his routes a little bit. Put him in different spots. Make him be the threat he was drafted to be.
What I would do to just have when people want to harass Sammy Watkins, man, and Tyrod Taylor's numbers, what I would do to have just if Sammy Watkins is healthy, the Bills' passing offense isn't as quote unquote bad. I'm trying to get over here. Bad, right? So these receivers go down. And everybody's all hyped about drafting a receiver. And here's something I want to really get into, Deeks. And probably about another 10 minutes, and then I got to bounce. So I was going to say, I think a great topic would be this receiver thing if people are down. I'm down to kind of stick around here. If anybody else has anything else interesting, Deeks, just kind of, maybe make a message or something to me or just let me know. But I have this theory that people change their I feel like we're the most in tune with our team during the season, and your feelings at the end of the season right away, at least for me, was if the Bills don't need a receiver. They don't need to draft a wide receiver in the first round. Rex Ryan is gone. Okay, what's going on here? You don't need to. My thought was you don't need to throw that much. You're running for 5 yards a carry. And when people got to get this media crap out of your head, it doesn't need to be a passing league. I don't need to go over this again and again and again, but just really think about the Super Bowls and who have won them in the last 15 years and go back to even the early. Tom Brady was good, but Tom Brady really just didn't fuck up. You need a guy who just doesn't fuck up. And a good run game and a good defense, like a really good defense. If you're in the Super Bowl, you got to have a really good defense. Because what happens is you get a Matt Ryan and a Julio Jones. They can't carry you through everything.
I'm sorry to bring this up again, but you just overlooked maybe the most important part of those New England Patriot teams. They had a reliable, clutch place kicker. Adam Vinatieri won 2 of those Super Bowls.
Sometimes you just blow
not
me
by
away.
Not by himself, obviously, but that's one other thing that you got to remember is he didn't have to worry, is this guy going to go out there and fucking make it? He knew that guy was going to go out there and nail it.
Hey, man, I can't disagree with you. I really can't. But if you look through these teams and you see a good running game, you see quarterbacks that, okay, everybody says Trent Dilfer. Well, what about that Johnson character in Tampa Bay with Gruden? What about that guy? He wasn't good. You talk about Tom Brady's game managing Super Bowls early in his career. And then the year you had Randy Moss and you win every game, you can't win the Super Bowl. And granted, it was over a stupid ass catch from dude on Giants, but like really,
right? Yeah.
With straight hand is great.
Or
not straight hand. What's up?
we lost the Super Bowl to Mark Rippon and the Redskins. You know what I mean? Like, that passing game didn't win that Super Bowl for them. That was a well-rounded team.
Well, that was a different time. That was. I'm trying to give people a benefit of the doubt, though, Deacon. When they say, I'm arguing when people say it's a passing league. That's what I'm saying. It's like, how long has it been a passing league? So that's where I'm going. Is you look recently, Seattle should have won it twice. They should have won it twice.
Yeah, it is a passing league, but also the number one passing team lost the Super Bowl. So.
Exactly. So.
There's more to it than that.
So what I'm getting at is the Bills run for 5 yards a clip. So you have to stay objective, I think, with your true statement, which was the offense wasn't the problem. Can you say if the Bills had Sammy Watkins, you're looking at it's a different team. It's a different team offensively if your receivers just stay in the field. So the way I look at it is,
I mean, Sammy alone, we talked about it before. Tyrod's QB rating went up 14 points in the games where he had had Sammy healthy compared to the games where Sammy wasn't playing. He went from a 83 something to a 97. I don't have my notes in front of me, but that's significant.
Yeah, it's huge. It's really big. And if you look at Sammy's numbers for the games he's in, they are really honestly elite numbers. He's very effective. He's very effective. He really rolls coverages. He really messes with defenses. Like, he's a beast. And I hate that he's hurt. But I have to tell you, at the end of the season, I'm not thinking that we're getting a quarterback first round or a running back first round. And now you set up all these things. Okay, well, what guy are they bringing in for defense? What guy are they bringing in? Are they bringing Tyrod back? Which I always hammer the table. You'd be an idiot if you didn't bring him back. And it's like, okay, well, if they bring him back, then this happens. Well, I'm still true. I don't think you need a wide receiver in the first round. I don't want to hear, well, we can't get a free agent and we can't pay one. Yeah, I get that. I don't want to hear out of anybody's mouth, we got to worry about paying Sammy. No, don't worry about playing Sammy. Because if you're Sammy, you're going to feel underutilized when you have LaShawn McCoy on the team. Or your running game is that good again. You're going to feel underutilized. Or say he gets hurt and misses a few games. And then he is, of course, in Bill's fashion, a great contract year, and he's going to go get dope-ass money somewhere else. Sign Puzzlesny. Sign Levitri. Signed whoever you want. Like, how many times does this happen? Happens all the time.
And sometimes they're awesome and sometimes they're not. Jarris Bird, but if he wants to come in cheap, I'd bring him in cheap.
Oh, hell yeah. I got no beef with Bird. Hell yeah. And Eric Turner at cover1.net, I was actually texting him about this. He goes, you know what? I watched some Saints games, and he could still play. He's doing what's called upon him. He could do it. He just needs to be on the field, which is what everybody needs to do. And frankly, I think we still have to look at how we felt when we were in tune with the team and not look at the end of the season and really be, how can we make this team better fast? That's what Doug Whaley's looking at here. They brought in Micah Hyde to play safety. They went after him hard. They offered him more money, and some people might say overpaid, but you're always going to overpay for a free agent. But if you're going to really change the quote-unquote culture and get some work ethic going, bring him in. Bring a guy who's got good character. The other guy they brought in at safety, very good character. Tolbert, very good character. The fullback, the second fullback, very good. Like, they all, listen to them talk. Just listen to them talk. They sound like they're bringing in the good guys. What's cool about having a culture of good guys, you keep them in check. Yeah, dude, you're right. You got to keep these guys in check. So accountability needs to be preached. That's what I was kind of getting into earlier. And I think the Bills need to look at themselves and figure out where they can plug holes. And I don't want to say transcend schemes at all. I want you to get the guy to fit that defense. We got to fix that defense. I don't know what it is. We got to fix it. I think they should take a corner early. I think they should, because he should be able to transfer his game over. At the same time, who knows? Because Sean McDermott had some young corners out there in Carolina, And I don't know, they did not do well. But supposedly at the end of the year, they did turn up the heat and they really improved. So I guess he gets credit in Carolina from the Carolina beat reporters that, he came in with, I think, second and third round draft picks at corner, and they played. It might have been later draft picks. They started, especially with that whole Norman deal going on. I really don't know where the Bills should go in the draft. I just think that a wide receiver that's not going to get that many targets, and now I don't think it's worthwhile. And I'd rather have the guys that they got. I want these guys that have flash potential, but due to depth chart and due to whatever the hell, or their running team or their quarterback sucks, so they don't get opportunity. It's like when Greg Rosenthal is going off saying that Robert Woods' contract isn't this or that, he's kind of underwhelming, and he had 50-something receptions. It's like, wait, dude, he missed games, and it's the number one rushing team in the league, and sometimes he had to step up and be the number one. And last I checked, Robert Woods will do anything for you, and if you have a quarterback who could throw in the ball, wouldn't that be 80 receptions? And that would make his numbers legit. So how about you factor that in there? Again, you're running for 5 yards a clip. Do you really need to invest a lot of money or a high pick into a goddamn receiver? You know what's changed though, Deacon, for me? On that, you want to go on the other side of the coin? I've warmed up to receiver. Why have I warmed up to it? Because we've seen the Bills with who's playing receiver? Who did they bring in this week? And you can make the argument that Sammy Watkins can't be mad if they draft a receiver, and it ain't on Sammy. It ain't Sammy's fault. It's just circumstance. And I don't want to hear, well, we got to re-sign Sammy. No. If you have a chance of bringing in a guy and you can afford it, which the Bills can't, on a receiver, you do it. But I would be perfectly fine where you got a vet who just wants to show up for camp and he's spry and you want to bring him in for competition because he just happens to be out there. Bring him in. I don't care. But last I checked, you got Charles Clay, and you might make an argument that they could take they say this draft is deep. Let's get these big tight ends later in the draft. It's a deep tight end draft. You know it's a deep draft. So let's get them later in the draft. That's what I say. Get those guys later. If there's that many good starters, I think this is a year the Bills. No, I'm throwing a lot of shit out there. This is a year the Bills just absolutely. What is our need? Okay, we need that. Well, he's the best one. Let's go. He fits our scheme. Cool, done. But a receiver is not. You're not going to get max value out of a receiver. It's almost as extreme in the first round, I think, for what they're offering and how you have to learn. When you hear Donald Jones talk, you hear receivers talk, you hear coaches talk, and I like to listen to Donald Jones with Murph because you get that player insight. So I'll just puppet what the hell I hear because I don't know shit. But you have to know how to run routes precisely in the NFL. These defensive backs are great athletes, and everybody in the NFL is a great athlete. I mean, if you want a running back comparison, what could C.J. Spiller do in the NFL? Not much, because the defensive ends are fast. It's a different game. And last I checked, everything is timing. I don't care if you run super fast. I'd rather have a slower guy who could be in the right spot at the right time and not be a liability to the team. And it's no secret that little white dudes on the Patriots run around and make shit happen. They're smart football players, man. Like, it's just, you want a smart football player. I mean, look at Baldwin and Tate and these receivers. And, Stevie Johnson made a great career just running routes, just juking people. Like, it's crazy, and he had his own, and it's like Shane Gailey embraced the way he did shit. He's like, he's unorthodox, but he gets to the spot. That's what I need. He gets to the spot. And in the West Coast offense, which is what the Bills are running, okay, Rick Dennison, Gary Kubiak. Well, Gary Kubiak played with who? Oh, Mike Shanahan. So think about that. But who they have, Gary Kubiak, who do you have, I think, on the Texans? You had Johnson, big-ass receiver, So you can almost make the case. What do you think? Do the Bills get a receiver or not?
I think they do. I don't think they get one in the first round necessarily unless they like trade back deeper into the first round,
Okay.
which I kind of expect them to do under the circumstance. I'm not gonna lie. I was really sitting here mulling it over for a while earlier today. Like, what are these guys gonna do?
Right.
And I honestly think if they go at 10, it's gonna mean that the corner they want is on the board, or they're going backwards. They're gonna drop back into the first somewhere. I think right now corner is the most glaring need on defense, and with Sean McDermott coming to town, I almost expect him to go defense first, just because he's a defensive-minded coach. I could be wrong, but you would think that if he's coming in here and he wants to get off to a good start, and he's bringing this 4-3 scheme back in, he's gonna want to get his guys, just like Rex went and got a bunch of 3-4 guys up here.
Right.
Well, now we got to get a bunch of 4-3 guys back. Now, luckily, with the exception of Mario Williams, we kept the Jim Schwartz defensive line more or less intact. We got Hughes, we got Williams, we got Darius. Darius disappointed everybody last year. I'm trying to give him a clean slate for this year. Of course, like, he's still got strikes against him. If he gets in trouble again, it's a 10-game suspension. And at that point, I don't think I can forgive the guy. But long story short, I think McDermott goes for a corner early or trades back. I don't think receiver is going to be glaring enough to go that high for the Bills, especially when they say, like, hey, there's a ton of guys that can catch the football in this draft.
I agree 110%. You know, it just,
because the way I look at it, we got Robert Woods as a second rounder, right?
right.
And Robert Woods was a very good receiver. And I think we can go into the second round of this draft and pull a guy that is greater than or equal to a Robert Woods. I think we got, a good signing with the Holmes kid. I really like the potential there to again have that big body. I mean, you go through the last 2 years of this podcast. Yeah, we've been doing this for 2 years. We always talk about the Bills need bigger receivers. I picked on Marcus Goodwin a bunch of times because, like, yeah, he's fast, but you can't make him be any bigger than he is. You can't coach him to be taller. You can't coach him to jump up there and get those balls in traffic. It's just not gonna happen. It's not something that's a possibility. And now we got that guy. So and truthfully, and I know this is a long shot, I'm almost hoping that our man Colby Listenby could just come in and be an upgrade over Marquise Goodwin as the slightly smaller guy that stretches vertical, that gets deep down the field. I really hope that he can be the guy to fill or upgrade that position, so that way we don't really have to worry about it.
Right.
So, like, I'm saying, if we can get a guy in the second round that can be the Robert Woods, we got Holmes who can be the Justin Hunter, or in a pinch be the number 2, which a lot of people think he might end up being our number 2. Not everyone. John Murphy did a poll, I think, yesterday, and a lot of people don't think the number 2 is on the roster yet, but I don't think it needs to be a first round guy. Long story short, I know I made that be about 1,000,000 words long. We can go in the second round and get a very, very, very good wide receiver in this draft.
Right. But at the same time, it's just, I look at it like, if he's not going to be thrown to, who gives a shit? Because if we can get a cornerback that's going to be playing every single snap on the field and develop versus a receiver that, it just depends. And I'll support him either way. I'm very malleable when it comes to the draft. I usually come out of drafts like, oh, okay, I see what they're thinking, and that's how I look at it. I give them a chance. And there's times where, even with Watkins, I'm like, what are you doing? Who's throwing the ball? Even with E.J. Manuel, like, what are you doing? I don't know. I'm not a quarterback evaluator, so let me give him the benefit of the doubt. But if all I hear is he can't hit the broadside of a barn, and that his footwork sucks, and they were really enamored with Cam Newton, it's like, okay, well, this ain't Cam. This is Cam Newton light, but he I don't know. Cam Newton's allegedly not that accurate, but he's breaking records his rookie year, so throwing yards. But so
I don't know if there's any doubt in anyone's mind that Tyrod Taylor is the quarterback moving forward after this year, though. It to me that makes using the highest pick on a receiver, if we're going to be a run first team, it's just silly. And I mean, that's my opinion. And oh shit, actually right here in the comments, we got Kevin from Cover One says need to take a wide receiver at 10. It falls off quick. So
yeah, I mean, dude, it's just I feel like with receivers, I feel like the Bills can mask it one more year. You could almost sell me on an impact tight end. They like to run 2 tight end sets. I've said it for a while. I think Tyrod Taylor needs big targets. I want to hear about wingspans. There was a deal with Sammy Watkins. I want to see this team give Sammy Watkins a ball and some screens. Can you put on some? Can you just? These guys are so hard-headed. The NFL is so hard-headed. This is my way. I've been doing this for so long. Oh, gotta yell, dude. Just see what these guys do. If you're telling, if Rick Dennison is like, we need a receiver at 10, then let's go. So, I don't know.
The problem is when you have Rick Dennison telling you need a receiver at 10, and you got Leslie Frazier telling you that you need a cornerback at 10, and you got Sean McDermott disagreeing with both of them. That's when you start running into problems.
All right. Well, I unfortunately have to leave, so I have to go play adulting hockey. Deacon, feel free if you ever want to go live this week, or maybe we'll go back up this week later on. Don't forget numbillsfan.com. Check out our podcast 111 with Kevin. I don't know how to pronounce your last name, so say it. I'm sorry. Rob Quinn from 112.
He's been saying your last name the entire time till you showed up in here, by the way.
I know. I know. Don't forget, check out Sam Tripoli on Twitter at Sam Tripoli, Tripoli, I believe. He's Armenian. And PunchdrunkSports.com, BillsForLife.com. Thank you. Thank you, Bills for Life, for putting us up here. Thank you, Chris Williams, for starting this group. Thank you, Jamie Tilbury, for talking on the phone with me for the other day for like 3 hours. Deacon told me to slot out 90 minutes, but what happened is we're both talkers, so it turned into 3 hours on the phone.
Yeah, no, that's all right, though, because if he would have called me and said, hey, I'm about to call your boy Dave, I would have told him to slot out 2 hours. So
one time, Deacon actually lied. Deacon, I had a conversation with my friend real quick. I got to get this out there. I had a conversation with Tugboat New York. Follow him on Instagram. So Anthony Hayward's like, man, Deacon was telling me that he had to lie to you and tell you he was going to take a shower just to get off the phone with you.
Oh, yeah, dude. Like, and it wasn't even like, hey, I gotta go take a shower. Like, I was like in the bathroom running the water, holding the phone up, like, oh yeah, I'm about to jump in, man, gotta go. Because this dude just doesn't shut up. He just doesn't shut up. And that's why he's a great podcast. So I think he just ran off to the bathroom in the background. I thought I just heard his toilet seat. So that's awkward. But before we go, hey, there's Kevin Masseri. All right. Now I know. What's up to our man Clint? We see you. Our man Daniel from Hawaii. What up, dog? Good to see you again. We're just wrapping up, but thanks for stopping by. Make sure you catch the replay if you didn't see the show. Sean Rivera. Did Zach Brown sign on the line? No, from what I understand, Zach Brown didn't get his deal done yet. D. Milak's in here saying, doubt Hayward took a shower. That's just rude, Dean. They call you stank ass. True story. D. Milak in the comments, they call him stank ass. He played drums in a band with Dave and I for a long time. Good dude. Doesn't smell great, but we love them anyways.
All right, hey,
Dave,
I gotta go,
you got anything
man.
to add?
No, I gotta
All right,
go.
man.
So have a good night, guys. Take care, and bye, Deeks.
All right, hang it up, dog.
All right, man.
We'll see you guys next Wednesday.
See ya.
NumbBillsFan.com.
Bye.